All right, welcome back to Blue by 90. I'm Justin, joined by Jack and Kaylin, and we've got a very special guest on today. Michigan legend, maybe legend. I don't. You probably wouldn't say that about yourself. I doubt it. But we loved it when you were in the Maize and Blue. Jon Teske is joining us today. Jon, thanks for joining us, man. How you doing?
I'm doing well. Appreciate you guys having me on, and I'm just looking forward to just kind of talking with you guys and just hang out with y'all.
So you're in Orlando right now, right?
No, I'm actually in Maine, Portland, Maine. So first time in Maine, so it took a while to get here, but yeah, with the Lakeland Magic. But yeah, we play the Maine Celtics this week. So
you get any lobster yet?
I didn't. I actually got a pizza tonight. Maybe I'll do that tomorrow. So
there you go.
There you go. I mean, you probably go to quite a few obscure like cities in the G League, right?
On the Eastern Conference isn't actually too bad. I think on the Western Conference it's where you get kind of funky. This is really our first one. Like we've been in Fort Wayne, Indiana, obviously not too bad. A lot of the smaller cities, Grand Rapids, Michigan, obviously we're in Detroit, we're in Chicago. Like we're in these cities, but we're also like on the outskirts. So like we were in Chicago, but we're really like an hour from Chicago. Like I don't know.
Yeah, that makes sense. Well, you're obviously not playing in like the United Center,
No.
Right. So you're in like, in Van Andel Arena in Grand Rapids, or like you're in the new, the new arena in Detroit as well. But no, man, it's got to be a pretty cool experience too. Are you like playing with any of your boys or any like guys that old teammates?
Yeah, so actually, one of the two ways for the Orlando Magic is Iggy.
Okay.
So so some of the home games, the two ways will come down, and so he's come down 3 or 4 times and play with us. So two ways don't travel with us, but when we're home, most of the time, if the Orlando Magic aren't on the road, they'll send the two ways down to play with us.
Nice, cool. And so does Iggy come down and just dominate in the G League or what?
He kind of does like the same thing he did like his freshman year. He's just like so smooth with the ball. Like he gets his left-handed layups, like the slow steps, like Euro steps. Occasionally hit a three. Like you'll look up, he'll have like 25, 30 points, and like it's all off of layups and like offensive rebounds, basically.
He was always like a very different player, I feel like. And I mean, I as a Michigan fan wish that we would have had him at least one more year because he was so talented, but it was like he didn't really like fully develop into what you like could have seen as like a full-on takeover player. But yeah. What's your game like now in the G League? I mean, you were at Michigan hitting threes and doing all this stuff. By the time your senior year rolled around, are you still launching them or what?
Yeah, still shooting them. Obviously, I think for me personally, like the pro game is just so spread open. Like there's a defense 3 seconds, so like you can't just camp in the paint like in college. You can't run like 2-3 zone. So in college, like you watch NBA or college basketball games, like when I would catch in the post, or like you watch Hunter now, you catch in the post, there's like 3 guys already on him.
Right.
Yeah.
Like you catch it on the post, like in the pros, like it's basically all 1-on-1. Or like we spread the floor, like you watch NBA teams now, it's all 5 out spacing. So like being able to spread the floor, like I'll catch it on top. I'll have the shot, but like just moving the ball, backdoor cuts, like I think for me, I'm a really good passer, really good at setting screens, like rolling, like find open man, and then like obviously under like 5-6 seconds, like if I'm in the corner, top of the key, I'll shoot the 3 as well. So just really expanding my game and just knocking down open shots because for me, like I'm always gonna have the open 3, like no matter what. That's always gonna be there for me, just because the bigs are sagging off or like they got help by other guys. So like
they got to respect you though.
For sure.
They got to come out. Come on, after you hit a couple, they better come out and respect that.
Yeah. So last game I hit 2 or 3 finally for the first time in a little bit. So that felt good to get a couple of those down on. It's just different ball game, a lot more spacing. But I like it.
You know what I think we need to do? We need to figure out how to get you into Denver. Play with Jokic. He comes out, you go in. It's like nobody knows the difference.
They wouldn't know difference. They wouldn't know difference.
Yeah, there you go. Is it weird because I feel like the G League, you can cycle through guys on a team, right? They're either a two-way player that goes up and down, or they get traded and stuff like that. Is it and also it definitely seems like it's more like everybody's for themselves a little bit, right? There's obviously going from college to the G League. In college, you're definitely trying to win a national championship. In the G League, the hope is to get to the NBA. So was that a tough transition as well?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of guys are all about the stats. I mean, that's a lot of things. I think people think that's all they look at. But, like, if you're winning in the G League, like, it's not just because of one person. Yeah, obviously one person may score a lot, but, like, you need a team around them to do the dirty things, to set screens, rebounds. So you need a full team to do their jobs. But, like, just coming in last year in the bubble, like, that was kind of eye-opening for me, like, just getting my first taste of, like, pro basketball. And, like, our team last year, I was with Lakeland as well, and we had a solid 9-10 guys, like, rotation, and, like, any one night any guy went off. I think we had a different leading score each game, which is kind of crazy in the G League. And so, like, that's kind of how the Lakeland Magic run it. So this year, like you said, a bunch of different, like, players going in and out, and especially this year with COVID. And, like I was talking about earlier with the 10-day contracts, like, everyone going up. Like, at one point, we had only one coach. Our GM had to come down to help coach. Our strength coach had to be like assistant coach. We only had like 5 guys. You need 8 guys to play. So, like, 3 guys came in the night prior to the game. Like, we just met them the day of the game. So, like, that's G League life. Like, you never know what's going to happen. All
right. So you told us that story of you going from Lakeland to a 10-day with the Grizzlies, right?
Yep.
Please tell that story again.
Okay. So, like, just because of, like, all the COVID stuff going on and, like, the spike, especially during the Christmas time, you never knew, like, who was going to be on a team or who'd show up at practice, like, or where you'd be, like, the next day. So this was probably the week before Christmas. The Magic kind of starters got tested for positive. I think Mo was one of them. Maybe Franz was one of them as well. And so they needed some of the G League players. So obviously the first place they look is their G League team. And so they looked at the stars, and, like, obviously one of the stars, but they only needed, like, guards and wings at the time because the bigs for the Magic didn't test positive. So it was mostly just the guards and wings. So they got pulled up. So then we're like, all right, now what do we do? Like, we only have 5 guys. So they brought 4 guys in for, like, a week, and that's when we were going out to Vegas to play in the showcase. We played 2 games out there with, like, 4 new guys that we just met within, like, that met us in Vegas. We fly back for Christmas because we were only supposed to have a couple days off. So I was like, I went home for Thanksgiving. I'm like, I'm not going to go home for Christmas. Like, he had practice, like, we were supposed to practice the 27th or something. But Christmas night, after I had talked to my parents or whatever, I, like, started getting the chills. I was like, this isn't great. Like, I wasn't feeling well at all. So, like, I texted my trainer. He's like, all right, we'll just take the test just in case. I tested positive. So I'm like, great. Like, there's nothing to do. Like, I won't be able to practice. I won't be able to play any games. And then eventually later that week, they canceled the G League season for, like, a week and a half because so many players had gotten called up to the NBA, and, like, the G League really had no players left. And so I was like, well, at least I'm not missing games. I'm just missing practice. That's whatever. So between Christmas and New Year's, I really wasn't doing anything. New Year's Day, my agent called me. He was like, hey, like, the Memphis Grizzlies want you on a 10-day contract. Like, what do you think about that? I was like, that's awesome. But I tested for COVID. Like, I haven't done anything all week. Like,
hold on. Did you think about in that moment just being like, don't tell him. Don't tell him. No.
Like, I hadn't talked to my agent for a little bit, and then, like, he was checking up on me. I was like, I'm doing fine, but, like, I haven't been doing anything for the past week. Like, I've just been chilling on my couch, like, watching football. And he's like,
well,
he's like, well, when did you test positive? I was like, Christmas night. He's like, oh, you're fine. Like, they just changed it to 5 days. Like, you'll be fine or whatever. We just won't tell the Grizzlies, like, you tested positive. So then I'm like, oh, great. So then one of the Grizzlies guys, like, hits me up, and I knew him because he was the head manager at Michigan when I was a freshman.
Oh shit.
And so like I kind of already had a connection. He's like, welcome, Big John. Like you're on the team. He's like, we need to get you to Brooklyn, New York as fast as we can. And this was like Sunday at like 5:30. He's like, can I get you on a flight at 7:30? And Lakeland is in between Tampa and Orlando. So it takes like a good 45 minutes to each one. Plus you got to account for traffic. So I'm like, I can try and make the 7:30 one. I like, it's just going to be close. He's like, all right, we'll put you on it. So I literally packed for 10 days in like literally 5 minutes. I just throw sweatshirts, like sweatpants. Like, I don't even know where we're going. I throw in a coat just in case. I bring my passport, like the stuff just I need just in case. I call an Uber. I get to the airport. It's like 6:45. I look at my phone. The flight gets delayed. It doesn't fly out till like 11 o'clock. So I'm just chilling in the airport, like trying to catch my parents up, trying to catch my grandpa and grandma up. Like, hey, like just about to sign a 10-day. Like, call my friends. Like, look, guys, I'm about to be on a 10-day. Like,
this
like,
is the one. Yeah, this is the moment.
Like, this is crazy.
Right?
Like, they're like, well, weren't you just tested positive for COVID? I was like, yeah, but like, who cares? Like,
that was in the past.
I'm following the CDC guidelines. That's all that matters.
They told me I'm good after 5 days and everything. So, plus I didn't touch a basketball either. So I'm like, all right, this is gonna be just interesting. Like, see how this plays out. Fly in to New York, don't land until like 1:30. Driver picks me up to take me to the hotel. He gets lost in New York City, getting to the hotel.
Oh my gosh.
So I feel bad for the guy I'm in contact with because he's waiting because I got to take a COVID test before I can sign a contract. So he's waiting at the hotel. He's like, bro, where are you? I was like, honestly, I don't know. The Uber driver's like taking forever. Finally get to the hotel like 2 o'clock, take the test. I test positive. Now it's like 2:45 in the morning. They're like, bro, you got to take another test because you test positive. Take that test positive again. So now it's like 3:15. He's like, all right, bro, just go to bed. Like, we got to take the test in the morning. So like 9 o'clock rolls around. We get a knock on my door. It's an athletic trainer. He's like, John, nice to meet you on so-and-so, like athletic trainer. Like, heard you tested positive twice. We need to take another PCR test. Take PCR test. There's a shoot around at 11. I missed that. Just sitting in my room all day, like not knowing what's going on. Like,
dude,
if I test positive,
brutal.
Yeah, if I test positive again, like, do I have to fly back to Orlando or do I like just sit in the hotel room for like another 5 days? Like, what do I do? Then the first bus is supposed to leave at 4 to go to Reno. It's like 3:45. I'm finally like, all right, I'm just gonna ask, like, just whatever, see what's going on. Text them, hey, like, any results or anything? They're like, no, we haven't heard anything back. 4:15 hits. They're like, hey, you tested negative. You can sign the contract and like get on the bus. So I quick like sign it on my phone, like, because I send it through an email. So sign it on that. Go down the bus. They're like, this is a bus for you. I'm like, where's everybody? They're like, no, this is just a bus for you. So I'm like
we heard you're a big dude. You need a whole bus.
It's like huge charter bus. And like, I'm just like looking around, like the bus driver's like, that's it. I'm like, yeah, they told me I'm the only one. It's kind of weird.
You're like, I don't know what I'm doing here either. So
yeah, I'm just
He's like, damn, I really made it. This must be what how LeBron gets to the games, you know?
Yeah. Seriously, like, yeah, I don't know. So then I get to the arena, and I'm like, I get off, and the security guy's like standing right there, and he's like, "Where's everybody?" I'm like, "I don't know. I was the only one on the bus." He's like, "All right, just this way to the locker room." I was like, "Well, is anyone here?" He's like, "No, you're the first one." I was like, "Well, the first bus left at 4, so they got stuck in traffic." So I'm just chilling in the locker room for at least 5 minutes. Like, I'm trying to like be on my phone. Like, do I be on the phone? Do I like look around? Like, what do I do?
Practicing blocking shots or something out there.
It's like when you get there, like to the restaurant too early for like a date, and you're just like kind of trying to look cool, like don't look like a loser.
Just kind of milling around. Like, I was like, do I get a Gatorade? Do I get water? They had some snacks. I was like, I don't know what to do. So like, I grabbed a water or whatever. I sat back down. Eventually, everyone kind of one by one like trickled in, and like I met everybody, like met the players, met the coach and staff, and like so they're all really cool, and like it felt like I was part of the team. And like before the game, like in the locker room speech, like I sat down in the middle because like my locker was kind of like far off in the corner, and I couldn't really see the board. So like before the game, I sat down, and then they're like, "All right, guys, like before we start, just want to do this. This is Jon Teske, like he's new to the team. Everyone say hi," and like everyone went crazy, and like Steven Adams was like I thought this like serious dude was like the funniest dude, goofiest dude ever. Like he's like with his accent too, so like it was all cool and stuff. And yeah, then going out and just watching like KD play, and then just watching Ja play. Like I knew Ja was good, but like I didn't realize he was like that. Like he's really like that. And so just watching the play, and like we were up 20, and I was like, Dakota Mathias, who went to Purdue, so I knew of him, and like so he was on the 10-day as well with me at that time. So we were sitting next to each other. I was like, "Do you think we're gonna get in?" And it was like the third quarter, like 25. She's like, "Yeah, probably just like stay ready." Like I was like, I didn't know what to expect because he had already.
Were you shitting your pants? Be honest.
Yeah, I was nervous. But like, what helped me was the last 2 seasons I've been in training camp with Orlando Magic, so I've played in training like preseason games, but like this is just different. Like being in Brooklyn, like
and
just watching.
Jaren Jackson Jr. was on the team too, right? Xavier Tillman
and Xavier Tillman. So those are also 2 cool guys I knew, and like obviously Tillman's like really good friends with Isaiah Livers, so like just kind of chopping them up and just like it's fun to see guys that you played against and like now where they're at, and like just I mean at this point like we're good buddies. Like obviously like playing each other in school and stuff, like it was different, but like now that we're out of it, it's just kind of fun rivalry and stuff. So yeah, just playing them, and then being able to go on the court like the last minute and a half, like I got a steal or something, rebound, and just be able to play a little bit right there. So getting my feet wet in the NBA and just being able to say I made it. It's really blessing. Not a lot of people are able to say that, so it's just been taking a lot of hard work into the journey, and so it's been special. And then going from Brooklyn, we flew from Brooklyn to Cleveland that night, and I'm from Cleveland, so that night my friends were like, "You gonna be at the game, bro? Are you gonna get in?" I was like, "I'll be there, but I'm gonna have like a front row seat. Like, there's no way I'm gonna get in." Like, I didn't think anything of it, so like got my parents' tickets, got my sister's tickets. My cousins were like courtside. A bunch of my friends were there. My high school team was actually playing that night, and they had asked the team to move the game up from 7 to like 5 so they could come.
Cool.
No way.
So
that's really cool.
They played, and then like they ended up catching like the second quarter on, so I got to see them. A lot of friends and families from church came as well, so being able to go back home, and like we won that game too. That was actually a really good game, back and forth. So that's pretty special. And then we flew back to Memphis that night, and my mom texted me. She's like, "Well, where are you staying at?" I was like, "Honestly, I don't know. Like, I didn't know how I was going to get back.
I just go where they tell me to."
Yeah, they were keeping me updated. Like, obviously, we're just staying in hotels at the point, and they're like, "All right, we're going to take you back from the airport to the hotel, and like just chill there. Like, we'll text you for practice tomorrow morning or whatever." So finally got settled in there, and had like off day or whatever, and then that Thursday we played the Pistons, and like obviously the Pistons aren't the best team, so like we were up like 20, 30.
Hey, they're rebuilding, okay? They're rebuilding.
They're rebuilding. So we were up pretty much the whole game, so I was able to play like at least 5-6 minutes there. So that was pretty cool. And then that Friday we left for LA because we had a back-to-back that Saturday, Sunday. So that Saturday game, we play the Clippers, and we're playing, and we're up like 20. Dylan Brooks goes in for a layup. He gets hurt. Like, comes on his ankle. Supposed to shoot free throws. So we're in a huddle. They're like, everyone just be ready. Like, the coach can pick any player to shoot a free throw. And I'm like, I was like, oh, I thought we get to choose. Like, I didn't think of it. They're like, John, they're picking you. So I'm like,
hell yeah.
Sweatshirts, like, throw out my sweatpants. I go out there. First free throw barely like hits the front of the rim. Like I almost airballed it. I did not. I was shaking. I was like, all right, got the ball a second time. Like, just at least hit the back iron or like try and make it. Like this time, like I shoot it, hits the back iron, bounces out, and then like they're like, John, foul. So I fouled, and I sat back down. So 0 for 2 from the free throw line, which isn't great.
I mean, you're going in cold though, you know. That's
yeah. I was sitting for a good quarter and a half, 2 quarters. Like, so typically before the game, the 10-day contracts have like a little workout. So the pregame routine is a little different from what college is like. So the guys that don't really play like are on the court 2.5, 3 hours before tip off.
Oh wow!
And so this was actually a noon game. in LA. So they're like, we don't have enough time for you guys to get on the court. Like, you can just get to the gym at 11 o'clock, the 10 days. So I was like, all right, fine. So I didn't touch a basketball in the warm-up line. I'm like, I'm not getting into like the fourth quarter. So like, usually I get like a free throw in I get a couple of jump shots. I didn't do any of that because it was a noon game and I didn't get any court time. I was like, I'll be fine. So I go in there cold. That's so even more like cold. It's just like, Jon, what are you doing? So that was, I mean, we ended up winning. I went back in the fourth with a couple minutes left, got some rebounds, assists. So I didn't get another shot at temp up. And then that Saturday night, actually, they transformed the Staples Center or whatever it's called, whatever they changed it to. The Kings were actually playing the Red Wings. So I was like, I'm chilling. Like,
oh, cool.
Go watch the Red Wings play. So they lost like 4-2 or something. So, and then that Sunday we played the Lakers. Just watching LeBron play, and that was when Ja got that like two-handed block.
Oh,
like, off the backboard. Yeah. Like he just went up and grabbed it. Like I thought he was just gonna go up and block it. Like I was like, that's like the most athletic thing I've ever seen someone do before.
Seriously.
And like to watch him warm up, like he doesn't really warm up. Like he'll warm up with the guys and like occasionally like do a layup here or there. And then like we'll do a shoot around, and then like 2 minutes left, we'll do another like they would do another layup line. And then that's all when all of a sudden he'd do like between the legs, like reverse, like 360 dunk, and like just out of nowhere.
Natural.
Like, God. Yeah. Just
and
crazy.
With him too, like he's 6'3". It's not like he's 6'7" and being able to touch the top of the backboard. Like you're almost a foot taller than him, and I'm sure he just like somehow like can jump over top of you.
Yeah, it's crazy. It was just, I don't know. I didn't really have any words for it. It was pretty amazing to see and like just watch. And he's been killing it this year as well. So then we beat them, and then we go home and we play the Warriors on Tuesday night. So we get to watch, and that was Clay's second game back. So that was when all the big hype was like him coming back too with Steph. So watching them play, and obviously Jordan Poole, and just play with him for a year or two. So like got to get caught up with him, and like he loved it, like seeing me out there. He was so proud of me. I was like, it was special to see him out there, and he's been killing it too. Like, and all like the talk like I've heard like about the big contract he might get this upcoming year. So I'm really proud of what he's at. So I know he's happy where he's at. And obviously beating them, we beat them by like 15, 10 points as well.
Wow.
So, and then my 10-day was up. So to go 6-0 on that road trip and be able to go home, see my family, and just like kind of crazy how that all happened. And it was a pretty unique situation. And because then I had only packed for 10 days, and I thought I was going to be able to go home to Lakeland. But that day my 10-day ended, my Lakeland team was starting a 2-week road trip from Toronto to Detroit to Milwaukee to Chicago to back to Orlando. So that day my 10-day ended, I thought I was gonna go home. They're like, no, you gotta meet us in Toronto. So I flew from Memphis to Toronto and was on another 2-week like road trip. I didn't get home until I think January 26th, 27th. And I had left January 2nd for my apartment.
That's insane.
God.
That's insane.
And mind you, like when I told you at the beginning, I packed in 10 minutes. I only packed for 10 days. I ended up doing like laundry like twice on that road trip, and I like had to throw out all my food when I got home. Like, I just made sure all my lights were off. That was basically it. And I came back like 4 weeks later. Like I was like, this doesn't feel
milk
like home.
is rotten. Yeah.
Right.
You're like, who lives here?
Yeah, seriously.
So I know, like in the NBA, there's like a lot of those guys that are like big, like pregame outfits, like are a big deal. Do you like try to like throw some shit together before games or what?
So actually, one of the pictures they posted of me, I think walking this Staples Center, I think I had like this sweatshirt on or whatever, and like just my regular like gray sweatpants. And like I reposted it on my Instagram, and like all my friends were like, this dude's been wearing that since like 5th grade. Like nothing's changed. But like I was like, first of all, I'm not the type to like spend all my money on like all that crazy stuff. Like I'm the guy who just wears sweatshirts, sweatpants, and like plus I only had like 10 minutes to like pack. So that's all I have like back in my apartment is sweatshirts, sweatpants, like easy stuff to get going. So like just threw all that on. But like Yeah, so some of the stuff like Jaren Jackson was wearing to the game, just like I was like, I could never pull that off. Like, no.
Hey, you never know until you try. I think we gotta.
Yeah, just like I mean, I'm already 7'1", so I already stand out. Like I throw that on, like no way.
Get some floods on you.
Yeah,
That's great. That's great.
So I am curious. When you were on the team, I mean, I'm going to say you're a good luck charm. They went undefeated. You were 6-0.
yeah.
If they win a title, do you get a ring?
I don't know. I think someone
That
else
would
has
be
asked
sweet.
me that, and I'm not sure how that works. I have to
Well,
look that up.
I
You gotta
think you
make sure
gotta
that
call.
happens.
You gotta
Yeah.
ask, right?
Yeah,
Like,
definitely. So I'm kind of hoping that. I mean, obviously they've been playing a while. The West is tough, anyways. But they got a really good young team.
Yeah.
The young coaching staff, the young GM as well. So yeah, they're
how about
very
like
well put together.
also you play that's probably the best road trip you could possibly go on for 6 games. Like you get to play the Lakers, the Warriors, like all these
Mets.
sick teams. Yeah, like that's so sick, dude.
I don't think you can play any other like better, not necessarily better teams, but like well-known players, like
Superstars,
top,
yeah.
superstars.
Totally.
Was
it's crazy.
Hardem was on that team, right? Then?
Yeah.
Fuck.
Wow, that's crazy too. That's so crazy. Yeah, I mean that had to be just like is it like a blur now, or do you even like remember parts of this?
Well, it's crazy because me and a couple of my teammates now are talking about like it's already like March, like mid-March. Like we only have like 8 more games left in the G League season. If you look at the NBA season, like them too, like they don't really have like maybe a month or 3 weeks of teams that aren't completing the playoffs. They're like, well, where did the season go? Like, well, March, like, or in January, like people were on call-ups, and like we got back, and then we were on a 2-week road trip, and then February came, and since we won the G League last year, we got invited to go in the Continental Cup. So a team from North America, a team from South America, a team from Europe, and then a team from Africa. And this year, it was in Egypt. So they're like, we want you guys, the Lakeland Magic, to represent the G League and play in this like cup. And like we were debating at that, and they just threw this on us in the beginning of the season because we won the championship last year. So like we're deciding like, do we want to go? Like they're like, we're gonna pay you extra to go. So like, all right, fine, like free trip to Egypt, like play 2 games, like we'll go out there, we'll have fun. So that was in the second week of February. So like up until then, our schedule was kind of screwed up, and like we went out there, like, and that took like a week because we flew out there and then had to get adjusted to time. We ended up losing our first game to a team from Brazil, which we could have won, but it's just like the different rules of basketball is different. The physicality is different. I mean, the refs out there, like they don't like Americans really, so like it's tough to like get some calls at times.
Is it a tougher game out there, or is it more physical, or what?
It's just more physical. Like some of the rules, like obviously it's FIBA rules, but it's just different. Like since we're so used to like NBA rules, G League rules, like hitting the ball off the rim or like I don't know, just like you only get 5 fouls. I had like 2 quick fouls for like over the back or like setting the screen that like usually I'm like fine with here. Like so just like picky stuff like that. And then the second game we actually beat the team from Egypt. So that was pretty cool. Like we were the first team to play, so like we got like bronze medal or whatever. So like
that's cool.
It was pretty cool. And then like that last night, we were there. We actually stayed up all night because that was the Super Bowl. So like that was pretty fun. So we stayed up all night. Like we like had to like I don't know. We found some stream online to like stream the Super Bowl because like obviously they didn't have it going on over there. And then we came back, and then it was our All-Star break, so we got to go home for a couple of days, and then like came back, and like I don't know. By that time, it was kind of the end of February, and now it's March, so it's just been a crazy new year, honestly.
Yeah. Well, you know, you said it. It's March, and it is March Madness right now.
Yep.
So you know, it's fun to watch. Obviously, college basketball at this time. You had quite a few good runs in college basketball too at Michigan. I mean, some of those teams that you were on were so fun to watch. And I have to imagine it was fun for you guys to be playing for Coach B. And, you know, you went to the, you know, Sweet 16, then the final, then the Sweet 16 again, you know, with some some championships, a Big Ten championship and tournament runs too, there too. So I mean, what was like all in all your Michigan experience? Was that a blur too? It had to just be like so much fun because you guys were living on top of the world really through your career.
Yeah, I mean, I think now I look back on it and I was like, wow, it really went by like so fast. But like, just because of how everything ended with COVID and even like last year too, I thought I was like, oh, like I still kind of felt like I was part of it, like everything. But now this year, like now I'm 2 years out, like I think I've kind of like just gone on my mind like over and over, like all right, like so like it's really over, like. But now I think about it, like 4 years like go like plus 2, it's like it's really been 6 years since my freshman year, honestly. So it's been a long time, and like just the teams I was on, and like give a lot of credit like Coach Beeline and like the guys like D Walt, Zach Urban, Dockage, Sean, Muhammad, Duncan, like those guys really set the table for like how things are still run today. Just kind of because like as a freshman, me, Xavier, Ibby, Austin Davis, like coming in, like I was a quiet, shy guy. Like I'm not the most outgoing guy. Like yeah, I obviously talk and stuff like that, but like I'm not the one like obviously to like be outgoing like that. But like once I get to know you, then it's like fine. But like I'm still kind of quiet, reserved guy, which is fine. So like just learning for like not being like the most outspoken one, but like because that was kind of Xavier's role. Like he's the more type like to go like that, but kind of just like learn from those guys my freshman year, and obviously it was kind of humble experience, like being like the big guy in high school and then going from high school to college and not playing at all really. It was a big task, so it was tough at first.
Now, who was playing in front of you when it was your freshman year?
So they still had Mark Donnell and Mo, and then DJ played a little bit of the 4-5.
Oh, right, yeah.
And then he had me and then Austin Davis. So like it was us kind of 5 really.
Okay.
Yeah, that was. I mean, you guys had quite the crew, and I feel like there were so many guys that would step up. You know, you talked about your G League team that you had a bunch of different scorers. I feel like throughout, you know, not even just your 4 years, but sometimes just in one season, there would be a ton of different guys that would step up and be, you know, the high scorer or the guy to hit the big shot and all that stuff. I mean, you think about Jordan Poole against Houston, like, you know, you think about Xavier hitting shots. D Walt hit like how many big shots back then. Big. So like, I mean, when you guys were going out there day in and day out, it wasn't like, hey, we got to get it to this guy. Like sometimes now it does look like, all right, they got to get it to Hunter, right?
Yeah.
That wasn't the case when you guys were playing, right?
No, especially with Coach Beeline's offense, it's so complex. Like there's so many different actions, like the names he would have, like he would say a name and like have 3-4 different parts to it. So like the name would be so long, but because of that one play, you could do 4 or 5 different actions off that one play. So like it could be a curl or a pin down, and it could be for like Duncan coming off, but it's not that. Like it ends in a ball screen with a D wall, and like you got shooters and corners, or like you got DJ Wilson like picking and popping to a 4-man or Mo. So like there's 4 or 5 different options right there in one play. So like that kind of just describes that like what you just said.
You got my head spinning already.
Now you can imagine as a freshman coming in and Coach Beeline's offense, like, and like with him, he was so strict about like he wanted all the plays down like this, and like if you didn't know it, like you basically weren't gonna play. So
right.
Do you have any like funny Coach Beeline stories?
I think one time, so Coach Beeline is very particular in like catching the ball with the right seams. So like in the very first like couple practices in the summer, like that's all you do for like 20 minutes is like you do passing drills and landing on 2 feet and like pivoting, which like we thought was dumb, right. And like kind of is dumb if you look at it. But like you get in a game and you don't land on 2 feet, that's a charge. You don't land on 2 feet, that's a turnover. You don't catch the ball with 2 hands, that's a turnover. You're not able to get a shot off. So like we thought it was dumb at the time, like I still do, but like in the game, like it honestly helps. Like you can be like, why didn't he catch it he caught it with one hand, like he didn't make a shot. Like you didn't practice that. So like stuff like that. So I think this was my junior year, like So I've been around the program. Like I shot the ball one time without the seams, and like it like spun like sideways and like clunked off the rim, and like he just like blew up on me. He's like, "You've been here for 3 years, like you're not shooting the ball with the seams. Like, I don't even know what I've been teaching you." And like, so then the next time down, like I catch the ball and hit the seams, and like there's nothing but net. He's like, "See, I told you." He just like walked away. And I was like, yeah, "I guess you're right."
Like, shit. All right.
I guess you do know what you're talking about.
Yeah, you've been coaching for 40 years. Yeah.
Right.
Oh man.
I mean, he was all about the arc. You guys had the in the PDC, you had like the little camera thing, right? Like,
yeah, I spent a lot of time on that. He'd be like, "Well, you know why that shot didn't go in? Because it wasn't 41, it was 39." And I was like, it's just so annoying, like how he was always right. Like he always knew, like, yeah. He was a great coach, though.
I'm sure these guys probably don't even know what that is, but a lot of our listeners. So explain like what that whole system is too.
Yeah, so it's like a system behind the hoop in our practice facility that like it can track. You can either have it track your arc, like how high you shoot it, or you can have it track like if you shoot it to the left or right. So like, and it's not center. So you could like, and the perfect arc was like, I think like 46, 47. That was like considered the perfect arc. So like anything high, a little higher was like good. Anything low, like you didn't really want that. So like my arc at the time was like 44, 45, which was okay, but like perfect, like for Coach Beeline was like 46, 47. So occasionally I'd get over that. Like sometimes it'd be like, and it's like the most annoying voice too. It's just like monotone, like 42, like something like like that. It's like
The
over
machine's
and over.
like, I'm not mad.
Shot.
I'm just disappointed.
Yeah, and like he's like, then coach. So you have the machine going off. You have a manager rebounding for you. You have Coach being like saying 2 feet away from you, like just watching every shot, and just like as soon as you shoot it, he's like, "Nope, not good enough. Nope, not good enough." And like he can tell right away after, like, as soon as it like leaves your hands. So it's a machine that like I think a lot of people use. So, but it's definitely helped me, and like I know it's helped a lot of other shooters as well. But yeah, kind of something like Coach Beyond really stuck by.
So did Duncan just hit 46, 47 every time?
I don't even think he ever used it. Like his shot was really perfect.
He's like, just leave him alone. Don't even go near this thing.
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny. Have you gone on the long shot pod?
I have not.
Come on. You didn't. Do you still talk to Duncan or no? Not really.
Here and there. I kind of keep away from the guys during the season just because they let them be locked in and stuff.
Yeah.
But during the off season, obviously we'll see some of the stuff like training, obviously. Because I know he's down to Miami a lot, so my agent is kind of out of there as well, and Drew just wherever travel takes us. So,
speaking of a big contract, oh my God, that dude got paid.
Yeah, he did.
Fuck,
well deserved, though.
Yeah, very well deserved.
Very well deserved. I mean, but like that was Coach Beeline, right? He's taking guys like, quote unquote diamonds in the rough, right, and making them into NBA All-Stars. How many?
Yeah.
How many guys? Franz Wagner was I know he didn't play for him, but he was a Beeline recruit, and so it's like there's just so many examples of that. What do you think was like his? How did he do that? What was the like? Was there anything that you can point to, or was it just like what he did?
I think his knowledge of the game helped, but I also think a lot of it too is on the player as well. Just like because I've never seen someone work as hard as Duncan did. Like he was always in the gym shooting, like. So he had that coming in, and then to have a coach like Coach Beeline get him in the right position, the right times with like open shots, like, and then it was up to Duncan to knock down those open shots. Like obviously Duncan isn't like most like athletic or like fastest guy out there, but like offensively, like you get him open for a three, he's gonna knock it down.
Yeah.
And so like you just need the opportunity, and then like once you get to the G League and like league, like it's all about opportunity and like maximizing like what you're able to do. And like Duncan's a shooter, like. He's had all opportunities in the world, and he knocked down all those shots that he shot, and like obviously got him paid. So I think it's a little bit of both, I would say.
Yeah, it was just so crazy how it felt like it just happened over and over and over again. So it's just kind of nuts. And then what was that transition like then to like with Juwan? That's like crazy, obviously very different people. Right?
Yeah, they're two totally different guys. And like I still remember, like, because at the time I was living with my best friend Luke Wilson, who was a walk-on. So him and I were best friends, and so we were living together. And then I was also living with Luke Testani. He was a manager, so us three were living together. I think it was in the summer, and like Luke comes in my room, Wilson, he's like, bro, like, look at your phone. And it was like 8:00 in the morning. I'm like, what's up? Like, he was like, bro, just look at your phone. Like, Coach Beeline left. We're like, what? Like, he didn't tell us. Like, he didn't like give us a heads up. Like, obviously, you heard rumors, especially because the year before he had rumors about going to the Pistons, I think.
Right.
And so like then that got shut down. Like, oh, it'll be kind of the same thing. Like, whatever. And then the news broke, and he told us like that later that evening or whatever. And he took that job. Like, kind of disappointed how it all ended with him with the Cavs, but like at that time, like that time period, that month, like I didn't really know what was gonna happen. Like, obviously, going to my senior year, I wanted to stay. I didn't want to go somewhere else, like, and finish out. Like, I was like, I'm already in my 4th year. I already love it here. Like, the friendships I've made, my teammates. Like, I'm not just gonna leave them out to dry. Like, I'm just gonna stick it out. Like, regardless. Like, I love the school. I'll do whatever it takes. Like, whoever they bring in, I know like Ward Manuel is gonna do a tremendous job. Whoever he brings in is gonna be a top name. I feel like. So like they're like, we're gonna just take the time with it. And like me, Xavier, and Austin were the 3 seniors at the time. We're like, yeah, that's fine. Like, we're gonna stick it out and just kind of see what happens. And then for them to bring in Coach Howard, like, I think for me, really helped me where I want to be at. And obviously Coach Howard played in the league for a very long time, and like obviously coached with the Heat, obviously too. So like just having a big man coach too, and a guy that's played in the league, I think it really helped me my senior year and just putting me in a spot like where I am today, and just like then transition too from Coach Beeline's offense to Coach Howard's offense. The terminology changed, but the terminology that Coach Howard uses, the pros use. So like when I got in the training camp or I got down here, the terminology they're using here, like I was already familiar with because of Coach Howard. So I give a lot of credit to actually both coaches. But I did think it was a good change. Like, obviously, like everyone loved Coach Beeline. But Coach Howard coming in, he's done a tremendous job. But I think it was a needed change, and I think it was a good change though.
Yeah, I remember getting that ESPN alert for Beeline, and my heart sank, and so I was like
there for so long.
I literally like had butterflies in my stomach. Like, at the time, I was just like, what is going on? Like, this can't be true. And it was all true. So I can only imagine from your guys' perspective. So, but I mean, all in all, obviously you had one hell of a career at Michigan. I mean, just from, going from, I think people kind of saw you probably as like just that tall white guy, when you were younger, right? Like,
no, for sure.
Let's be honest, you didn't have a ton of like skill. You were just big, right? And then like all of a sudden, you
got skill, Teske. Okay, don't let this guy talk to you like that.
Well, I mean, all of a sudden, like, you developed like awesome post moves. You were great on D, and then you were drilling the 3. And it was like, where did this guy kind of come from? So it was awesome to watch your trajectory as a Michigan player, though, to become like, that starter and that go-to guy. Really, did you ever feel like you were like, hey, this is my time? Like maybe against Purdue in the tournament or something.
So like, I'm not really the type to like be like, this is all about me and that, but like I think a lot of credit goes to Coach Beeline. Like I was talking about earlier, like it's all about like how he develops players, and like talking about Duncan, like how he transformed him, like coming in from the D3. Like, you see a lot of guys don't play their freshman year, but like you see him make that jump from freshman to sophomore year. Then you see him make that jump from sophomore to junior year, and then junior senior year if they stay. So like that was just kind of me. Like, obviously this time of age, like a lot of guys don't stay all 4 years. Like, they either bounce around or they leave after 1-2 years. So I knew after my freshman year not playing a lot, like I knew the backup spot was open behind Mo, because obviously Mo was going to be the starter my sophomore year. So like just putting a lot of hard work, and then just getting starts here and there and playing a little bit. And like the more you play, the more you get comfortable, and the more you do stuff in practice, your teammates, coaches feel comfortable with you out there. So obviously that Purdue game my sophomore year was a huge step in my path in my career, and kind of really jump started me into my senior year as well.
And what were those tournament runs like? I mean, you go back to back. Those were some of the best like 5-day stretches I've had as a fan. Like that was just so fun to watch. So I have to imagine for you guys, it was just like heaven on earth.
Yeah, it's crazy because even now, like I still to this day I get chills like watching the conference tournaments last week and now like the tournament starting tonight. Like just incredible. Like I watch it and like I'm talking to teammates now. They're like, "Oh, like we only got to the first round. Like we lost this." And I'm like, "Well, we made it to the Sweet 16 every year. Like in a tournament, we made it to the championship game every year." I was like thinking in my head, like, "What, guys don't do this?" And like I had to take a step back and realize like I've been blessed to be on such great teams that like I haven't had to just lose in the first round. Like I've got to experience like what a tournament is like and like win 4 or 5 games in a row. Because I think my freshman year was after the plane crash. We went to DC.
Oh, shit. Yeah.
We went to DC and won 4 games in a row. And obviously I wasn't playing, but just like being the biggest cheerleader I could, helping any way I could, like being on a scout team. And that's when D-Walt really went off and like going on the tournament. Like we beat Louisville and Donovan Mitchell like in the second round, like to go to the Sweet 16. Like no one thought we were going to go to Sweet 16 then.
Right.
And then my sophomore year, winning the tournament and like being a huge role in it. Like I think we were like the 5 seed. So we played Iowa, Nebraska, and beating Michigan State in the semis, and then Purdue, like in New York City. And like my family was there. That was like the first time my family was like, because the first year my family didn't go to the tournament, but this year that year they did. So like just be able to spend it with them and like be on the court and everything, and then making that run my sophomore year. Obviously Jordan Poole hitting that shot, that was crazy. God. And then winning out in LA against who we played, Florida State and someone else, Texas A&M, and then the Final Four. Like when I say I was scared at like the free throw line in the NBA, like those playing in the championship game, I was like, everyone's watching, like just don't screw up, just do what you gotta do. And obviously, like it wasn't the outcome we wanted, but like such a great experience. And like then my junior year, that was a tough year. We're losing to state 3 times.
That was. And I mean, it was like you guys were in it every time, and it wasn't like you guys screwed up. They just, like Cassius just did his thing.
He was good.
And, he's a hell of a player, right?
Yeah, I think in each game we're up with the 4-minute timeout. I think we're each game, like, and we lost each game. And I think they took it away from the conference tourney and like the actual tourney as well. So, but just like winning 3 games there too, like being able to make it, like playing on Friday, Saturday, Sunday, like. And then going to the tournament again and making it to the Sweet 16 again, and Sweet 16 3 years in a row. Like that's crazy. Incredible. Like, my best good friend on my team right now, like he's like, I had a shot to beat Notre Dame in the first round and it didn't go in and we lost. I'm like, I
can't relate.
I'm sorry, but like it hits me different. Like, because I have to think about it twice before I'm like, that actually makes sense. Like it's tough times, but like if you win at this time, it's the best time of the year.
Right.
And then
it can be the worst time of the year and the best time of the year, right?
Yeah, for sure. And obviously, like at that time too, my sophomore year, because every tournament, I think it was Wichita and then LA and then San Antonio. I think every time we leave on like a Monday night. So like we were missing class from Tuesday to Friday. So like we weren't even going to class. So like we even thought that was the best time. We're like, we're not doing it. Like, it was awesome. Like, and it's funny because some of the professors were like, yeah, go ahead, like, keep doing your thing. And then some of the guys would be like, my professor's like being like a douche or something. Like, he's not letting me, like, they didn't understand, like, why are you missing so much class? So, like, it's funny to see how the professors act. Like, some of them are like, yeah, go ahead. Like, who cares?
I'm not even in the state. Like, I can't come to class.
I think
if you turn on CBS, you'll see me.
You'll see me on the bench or whatever. Like, I think before the Elite 8 game, I took an accounting test. I think it was me, one of my teammates, and then there's like 3 or 4 band members too. Like, we were all in like this like private room, and I was like, I'm really doing this before one of the biggest games of my life.
Right.
Like, it's just crazy how like
don't know that though, right?
No, they don't.
Nobody has any clue
because they just see kids playing on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, but like they're still got school. Like, because at this time, like, was it end of March? Yeah, like
the finals are coming up.
Coming up. So,
what was crazy? What was like the locker room and the hotel like after the Jordan Poole shot?
The locker room was just crazy. Like we just had the water everywhere. Like we just dumped it on. Like a lot of it's a blur, so it's fun to watch back the replays. I know. I think the timeout, we'd always run that play at the end of like practice. Like that's Coach Beeline like would always draw it up. So we're drawing up. I think I turned to someone. I was like, Jordan's gonna hit this. Like the week before, like that's just how Jordan like hit shots. Like they'll just shoot random shots and like they just go in like nothing but net. So like we all had confidence in to hit it. And so when he shot it, like it would look good from the start. And like you can see the clip of me, like I jump up, I slip almost like trying to like get up out of the seat. Just trying to chase him around. And then I know like so my mom and dad were there, my sister was there. My other sister wasn't there, but I guess my mom was watching my dad. My mom was like, yeah, your dad didn't even watch it. Like he was like just sitting down, like hands, like he couldn't believe it. He's like, yeah. To this day, my dad's like, I didn't see the shot going at all. So,
oh my gosh,
dude! I tell you what, I remember that exact moment. We were sitting on me. It was like me and three of my buddies were sitting on our couch watching it in the living room, and I'm like, damn, like shit, like what's about to happen here? Like, it's about to be it. Like they're done. Yeah. Like there's no chance. And we see the pass go into Mar, right? Like he got it, and then he got it to Jordan, and he threw it up, and then like we all like were like kind of sitting on the edge of our seats, and then once it goes in, we all stand up, and my couch like flies back into like the dining room. Like, dude, it was fucking insane.
Yeah. The best thing, I think they put together like a montage of all the fan reactions. Oh, yeah. That was the coolest thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think the best one I saw was like when everyone was at Skeeps too. Like,
oh yeah,
bonkers.
Oh my god, I have to imagine. I think I can't remember. I probably wasn't at Skeeps for those. Like I remember like with Mitch and Trey. Back in the day, like I was at Skeeps after those Final Four runs, and they were those were like celebs at Skeeps. Did you ever go to Skeeps as like full out celeb after those moments?
Yeah, junior, senior. It got pretty easy to go in too. Even sophomore year, because like sophomore year, like Mo was there, so like people are like, "Oh, you're Mo, right?" I'm like, yeah, I guess. Like even
I'll be whoever you want me to be.
Yeah, like cause people think me and Mo are like the same, or like they're like, "You Franz?" I'm like, "No, I'm not Franz. Like I'm Mo." Like, so yeah, it was a lot of fun times.
Oh
there.
My god,
that's hilarious.
Oh
my god. What out of all of those though, what was like the best game? Like what's your is there one memory that you're like that is on the top of the list?
Obviously Jordan's shot is being up there. The Purdue game my sophomore year, and then I think also would be the Michigan State game my senior year when we beat them at home with Coach Howard's being first win it there, and then I also had another kind of dunk there as well. So I think, and even going back to that, like my senior year, like I think we would have like obviously like we start off strong, like we were kind of 500, but like we were playing Rutgers in the 8-9 game. I think we easily would have beat them. Play Wisconsin. We only had played Wisconsin once and we lost to them. So I think we were able to beat them. Like I think we're kind of in the same spot as Michigan is like this year. Yeah. And I honestly think we could have made it back to the Sweet 16. Like with the team we had, like the experience we had, like me, Xavier, like Eli, Isaiah, Franz. Like Franz was just coming back. Like Brandon Johns was playing well. Like we had a team, and like I really think we would have made some noise that year too.
Dude, I totally agree. It just felt like that team. And when you get to March too, it's all about having experience and having older guys that have been there before. You guys obviously had. So I mean, looking at this year's team, what do you think? I mean, obviously it's been super up and down. Yeah. Have you been able to watch that much or not really?
So not as much as I did last year, just because some of the schedule we've had, but when I'm able to, I do watch. But yeah, they've just been so up and down. I think it's been tough. Like Eli is really the only senior, only leader. Like obviously Devontae Jones is a really good point guard, but like he hasn't been there for 4 years like Eli has, so he doesn't know the culture like as well. But obviously like he still uses his voice. Like, and then like Hunter's really good, but like he's still a sophomore really. Like yeah, he can use his voice, but like I don't know how much he really does. Like Brandon Johns has been up and down. Like everyone thought he was going to be the next great thing coming out of Michigan. Like obviously he's had his time, but he's also had his struggles. So like you can't always count on him like in practice to be like that voice. And then who else is kind of there? Like Adrian Nunez, like he's a good shooter. Like I don't know really how much he's involved with basketball with all the side stuff he does.
Right.
Like
I mean, he's like a celebrity that just happens to play basketball at this point.
Yeah. No, like I'm happy for him. Like he does like great stuff
Dude,
outside
make your
that,
money,
but, like,
dude.
Yeah.
I don't know how much like basketball wise he's like totally like he's gonna say he's 100% in, but like you never really know at times. So
did
like,
you ever?
Like, for him.
I mean, with how Brandon is, you know, it feels a lot like it's a lot of confidence issues.
Yeah.
A lot. You know, did you ever relate to that, or do you like how would you put that into perspective for somebody that hasn't, you know, been in those types of shoes?
Yeah, I think it is a lot of confidence. I mean, obviously, at times, like if you go in there, like as a freshman, sophomore, you just want to like do like what you're supposed to do. Like, and like if you mess up, like it's the end of the world. Like, and like sometimes like you do mess up, and like coach takes you right out, and you're like, but now I have to go in there and be perfect. Well, no one's perfect, so like you just got to fight through that, and really through practice, really just like gain trust to the coaching staff, like doing what's told, and like when you're told to do something, like do it on the first try, like don't like make the coaches say it 3-4 times.
Right.
That kind of gets on their nerves. So like then also like just being with like the players, like the teammates, like having each other's back, like knowing like even if you mess up, like, hey, I got your back, like this and that. So yeah, I mean it's tough. Everyone goes through it. So yeah, I don't know. It's just
you got a prediction
it's tough to see him
for these guys.
I think they can make a little run.
There you go. So positive vibes only, baby.
Yeah, I mean, obviously the first game. I think the hardest game is the first game. Honestly, like you just got to win that first game and get that under your belt, and then like I think from there, like anything can happen really. So really just getting that first game under your belt, really, and then obviously if you play Tennessee, a really good team, like anything can happen there. I mean, I believe in our guys, and then obviously farther down the road, maybe they could play Ohio State or Villanova, whoever's there. But yeah, there's. I mean, at this point in the tournament. Yeah, really.
You know Sister Jean.
Yeah, I do.
Did you get to meet Sister Jean when you played?
I did not. I did not. That was just a big talk, and like just because how funny that worked out, like the run we made then too. Like this tournament is all about matchups, and like I mean everyone's good at this point too, so it doesn't really matter.
Yeah. No, totally. It's just odd to see like with this team right now. It's like sometimes they're this like big, bad, tough team that like you feel like that team could beat literally anybody out there. And
like when they played Purdue or whatever. I didn't watch that game, but like I heard like they went crazy that game.
I mean, we were sitting in the stands and it was like we couldn't miss, and they couldn't make anything because we were playing so tough. But even like, you know, at Ohio State, you know, or home against Michigan State, Hunter is just like this bad dude that's like no one can stop me, you know. And I feel like he really, in order for him to play well, he's like got to be angry or something. Somebody's got to try and piss him off on Thursday.
Yeah, definitely. Someone's got to like kind of like poke the bear or something, like get him going.
Yeah. That was the only time I mean you showed some emotion a lot, right? But the after the dunk over Haas, you were like talking your shit. That was incredible.
Yeah, a lot of my people, like friends from back home, especially church, are like, "Yeah, Jon, you gotta repent after that," because like it was so emotional. Like, I was like, then I'm like, my mom would come back. She's like, "Well, he was in the heat of the moment, so it's like all good."
Oh, there you go. Mom had your back.
Yeah, so it's just kind of fun.
Say 10 Hail Marys and then you're good.
Yeah. So that time, and then I think obviously, what else? I think the Michigan State dunk final, like kind of that one-handed dunk.
Yeah.
Remember the Ohio State game? That was the game I got a technical. That's my first and only tech I've had like
in your life.
Yeah. When that Caleb Wesson and like Xavier interaction kind of.
I'll be honest, I hated the Wessons. Hated.
I did too. Yeah, I hate Ohio State and stuff. It's funny because like growing up, like so I'm originally from Grand Rapids, Michigan.
So you're from Granville, right?
Yeah.
I'm from Hudsonville.
Okay.
Yeah.
So my mom's side of the family is from that side. So my mom grew up like she went to North Point basically,
Okay.
and then my one aunt and uncle live in the Holland area. My other one kind of lives in the Rockford area. Kind of one lives in like Granville, Jenison area. My grandma live in the Zeeland area. So I still have all my family go out back there, and obviously going to Michigan, like a lot of new friends. Like a lot of my friends live out there too, and so like, but at that time growing up, my dad's side of the family is from Cleveland, Ohio. So just being that and following my dad's footsteps, he's a huge Ohio State like fan. So growing up, I was a huge Ohio State fan. Like loved Ohio State football, Ohio State basketball. Like the years like they made it to the championship in 06 or whatever.
Yeah.
Like their football team too. Like growing up, like I loved it. And then I started getting. Then we moved to Medina when I was in 6th grade. So then my parents have been there ever since. But my mom's side is still back in Grand Rapids, so that's the side kind of had the connections there. But then I got recruited like going in my freshman sophomore year, and I was like, all right, I'm just gonna like stay neutral, like just take my visits, like see everything. And I don't know, I just fell in love with Michigan. Obviously, I already kind of knew of Michigan because I was just living up there, and I don't know, I just loved the coaching staff and Coach Beeline and what they ran, and like obviously the education you can't beat either. So
yeah.
yeah.
Was your dad like? I don't think we should go to Ann Arbor, son.
No, he was happy for me. Obviously, he's like, I'll always root for Michigan basketball. Ohio State. He's still a huge Ohio State football fan, so like it's just fun to go back and forth. But like, just kind of funny seeing him, and like nowadays, like I'll come home and he'll have like my Michigan sweatshirt on, and then like the next day he'll still have like his Ohio State sweatshirt on. Like, so it's just like you feel like going back and forth.
So I'll be honest, I'm envious of you in 2006.
Oh, yeah.
What a great game for you to be an Ohio State fan, and now you can just transition to the good side.
Yeah, no, now I can't stand them, especially with all my friends from high school. Like a lot of them went there, and like I can't stand them and stuff. So it's funny because too, my mom and sisters now like they like obviously have always had to dealt with like they haven't been fans of Ohio State just because like they're like always just watching Ohio State growing up. But now like I went to Michigan and like they can't stand Ohio State, so now it's basically just my dad.
Poor guy.
So he had a tough day this November then.
Yeah, he did. He always plays them down. He's like, oh, they're so bad. Like he's like Michigan's gonna kill him. He's been saying it for like 5 years. I'm like, Dad, like Michigan's like they've had their trouble. Like they might lose. Like I didn't even think like I thought we'd have a shot, but like I didn't think like there's always like we probably won't win maybe next year. Like it's always in the back of your head.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so like then this year happened, and he's like, yeah, well, like so and so, and I was like, I'm just gonna take it and run with it. Like we won. Like, yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, we love to end it on some Michigan Ohio State talk. That's always good stuff. But man, we appreciate you coming on. This was awesome. It's gonna be fun to watch this team. This is the best time of the year, right? Like March Madness is just incredible. So I'm excited for the next couple of days here. It's already started tonight and stuff. But man, it'll be fun to watch them on Thursday. Hopefully we're watching them all weekend. The women's team is coming up. I mean, they're playing really well too. We'll be there on Saturday because they're hosting those games at home too.
And the hockey team, they're the championship as well.
Yeah,
they play at Minnesota, right? I think for the title. So yeah, man, this is fun times
for the Big Ten title.
Big Ten.
Okay, I was gonna say I'm like NCAA
We're not there
title?
yet. Yeah.
That happened quick.
Not yet.
Yeah, the Big Ten tournament is like not a like bubble tournament anymore. It's I don't know.
I thought they beat like Notre Dame for the Big Ten.
Well, that was for the semis.
Like the semis or something.
Okay.
Yeah.
Clearly, I'm a big hockey fan. And
Yeah. Yeah. But no, it's going to be fun this weekend. But we appreciate you, man. This was awesome. We'll support you. We'll support the Lakeland Magic for sure.
I appreciate that.
We might have to get a Teske jersey. Are they available like on gleague.com?
Somewhere. I know one of my buddies has got one. So I don't know. I'll have to ask him how he got it. I don't know. I'm sure they're out there somewhere.
We'll have to see if we can find them, and if we can't, if you want us to make them for you, we will gladly do it.
Yeah,
I appreciate that.
We'll find a way.
Yeah,
we do have a shop. We should do like a Teske like Michigan Legends shirt for you too. So
yeah, that'd be awesome.
Do that. All right. Well, thanks, man. Where should people follow you at? What's your social media handles?
I think on Instagram it's just Jon Teske 15. And then on Twitter, I think it's just Jon Teske, honestly. Just pretty basic.
Dude, I love when we ask you guys like, hey, what's like your handles and stuff, and you guys like, I think
Nobody knows.
I think it's this. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, I know mine like A to Z, front to back.
Yeah, I think mine's just my name basically.
There you go.
There you go. All right. Well, follow him there, and then you can follow us at Blue by 90 on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. We're on the Amazing Brew Network as well for podcasts and for YouTube. We appreciate you. Go Blue.
Go Blue.
Yeah, thanks for having me on. Go Blue.
Go Blue.